Hello and welcome everybody to our Resolve the Unsolved forum. This has been brought to you by Panacea eBiz Consulting. This is our 31st free webinar. We could not continue our webinars for the last 3 to 4 weeks because of the unprecedented situation we all have been going through. The pandemic is having a major effect on our lives. Many of us are facing challenges that can be stressful and cause strong emotions both in adults and children. The public health actions such as social distancing are necessary to reduce the spread of COVID-19, but they can make us feel isolated and lonely and sometimes increases the stress and anxiety levels. Hence, based on few suggestions from our regular participants, we decided on today's topic, managing life during COVID pandemic, with the purpose of learning to cope with stress in a healthy way, which will make us, the people we care about, and those around us to become more resilient. Today, we are privileged to have Swami Sharanuji with us as a guest speaker. And I was sharing with Swamiji that I was really thrilled that 2 days back on a single call, Swamiji agreed. Yes, I'm busy, but I can spend that time 3 onwards with you all and your participants. Swamiji, welcome to the session.
Thank you so much, Sandeep.
Swamiji is associated with Art of Learning since 1999. Swamiji is a gold medalist and is fine arts graduate from Gulbarga University and has done his post-graduation from Delhi University. He is a disciple and a sannyasi. Swamiji has traveled wide across the world in the US, Australia, Sri Lanka, to name a few, and has been associated, as I told you, with Art of Living since 1999. His mission is to spread vision and message of Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar Ji, spreading joy, love, and bring smile on every face and dynamism through spiritual program. Along with us today on the forum, we also have Mr. Ravinder Goel. Mr. Goel, welcome to the session. And as you know, who have been regular with us, Mr. Goel has been an entrepreneur for the last 27 years. He is a veteran in vocational skills. He has trained thousands of youngsters across the country in the last 27 years. Today, he is a business mentor and is also a startup mentor and has been focusing on technology. To start off with, I would request Mr. Goel to say a few words. Mr. Goel, please.
Thank you, Sandeep, and I welcome Swamiji for his acceptance to come on this webinar, as this is the need of the hour, where the world across the stress has reached to a level where it is beyond any imagination. People from our families, friends, and the peer groups are hospitalized and they are in severe conditions. Many of the families probably have lost their family members, friends, and in such a tough time, like we always look forward to the spirituality, because all our mind is focused on mathematical calculations. So probably this is the time where mind has to be connected with the spiritual people, at least so that we can relax. I remember I read a book of Gurudev Ji, Oh Mind Relax. And there were like small stories. The ultimate moral was that you have to control your mind to stop overthinking, to manipulate you on each and every occasion. So probably we actually are looking guidance from you. So I welcome you and hand over the stage to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ravinder. Thank you so much. Everyone is welcomed. I do agree that Gurudev grace is there with all of us. And Gurudev always says, be scientific. What he says is that when such pandemic situation or if even the normal situations are there, there is a balance between practicality and spirituality. We call it, has to be a balance between feeling and our intellectual reasonings. Why he says so? Because we are not just body. We are more than that. We have feelings also. We have aesthetic sense also. And fears also there. Anxieties also might be there. Many more dimensions are there. But we have to attend all that because we cannot say that I like this so that I can take care of this. No, it is not going to work that. We have to look life holistically. Maybe the pandemic has taught us that, we have to think now holistically. We cannot only live with the reasons, only think about material gain, or you call it taking care of body. But because this pandemic has taught, we can take care of the body, but some unseen power can shake all our belief and our health. So not only it is shaking our health, and even the economy is also shaken, but it is affecting our minds. It is affecting our thought process. So what spirituality can do, how it can help? Very simply, I'll come back to it. For example, if somebody is not able to breathe, he might not needed some teachings or knowledge. He need only breathing. He need oxygen. In that situation, what spirituality can offer? Definitely spirituality can offer a lot. One is, before such situation occurs, we should have our health fit so that situation does not arise. If it arises, so what to do? For example, if somebody is struggling to breathe, we can simply go, what is a Udana Mudra? I'm coming directly to that. This is called Udana Mudra. And making the Udana Mudra, this mudra, and you start taking some deep breath, and you'll see shift and your breath will go deeper. But along with the medication and what doctors are saying, along with we can cooperate, collaborate this knowledge of spirituality, Ayurveda, and the science. And simultaneously, we have to have our head strong and the faith strong so that we definitely come out of it. We'll definitely, it is there, challenge is there definitely, but if you look at the number, if 1,000 people get, maybe 1 or 2 people might need oxygen. Maybe in lakhs, maybe 25, 30 people might need. So we all has to have that, unless doctors are not suggesting, and you can relax, then our breathing will be in a harmonious so that we might not need oxygen. Maybe our body will definitely heal itself when we are stable mentally. Because you all know that effect of this, just sugar pill that if you give, telling them that no, this is a medicine, it is going to heal you. And the real medicine, if you give, I don't tell it is nothing but sugar pill, and you all know that placebo, that effect of that one, we all know that. But here is a real situation. It is not a tablet of sugar tablet. It is not mental. The enemy is real. When the enemy is real, we should go with the scientific reasoning, scientific methods, and what the research is saying. But what spirituality can do? Definitely spirituality can tell you, see, anyway, deaths are not happening because of the COVID. Death was happening since the eternity. And I don't call since the beginning. There is no beginning. It is an eternity. There is no beginning and end. It is a circular life. Neither begins nor ends anyway. It is a constant happening phenomenon. So anyway, life is temporary, but this moment is real. So knowing that life is temporary, okay, we can relax that. Okay, anyway, it is going to end. It doesn't matter if it ends with the COVID or naturally it is going to end. Anyway, it is going to end. So that attachment, what we too much holding on, that fear of death can simply drop. And we are here and now. So what to do? So that time the knowledge come into action. The knowledge of science, medicine, and knowledge of self-knowledge. I have come across taking the benefit of Ayurveda and allopathy. Because allopathy, Ayurveda, they are not different in the sense of what I'm saying is they both are medicines. But the wonderful part is that when you take Ayurveda, you simultaneously can take allopathy also. They don't have any side effects. Ayurveda will not fight with, doesn't come, in between the way of the allopathy. For example, I tell you medicine, there is a homeopathy, allopathy, Ayurveda is there. What allopathy says, go to the body and it says, it tells to the body intelligence, say, I'm going to do, you just wait and relax. I'm going to take over. Whatever is necessity to be done, I will do. But when Ayurveda, it comes, it says, I am here to help you, support you. But you have to wake up yourself. It tells to the body cells so that you also fight, I also support you. This is what the Ayurveda does. But when it comes to homeopathy, it simply invokes the intelligences. For example, it gives information. There is a possibility you have a strength and all. It is more like a nuclear technology, and it is very effective. So when certain emergency situation, we always go to allopathy. We should go to allopathy. But simultaneously, we should rely and trust Ayurveda also. This combination of both, I have tell you, until there is Siddha medicine, it is called Kabasur Kudini. Along with Amrit, Tulsi, Shakti drop, and Haldi plus. These 5 combinations prevented the COVID patient. Before doctors were working in the hospital in COVID, also help them not get affected by the COVID, because when the immune system is strong, it doesn't affect. And if somebody has affected, maybe asymptomatic or little, so this Kabasura, it helps such a way, it boosts the immune system. And because of the boosting the immune system, it fights very well. The Roga Pratikarak Shakti will really fight it out. But this all we know, this information, how the Ayurveda is doing, or allopathy is doing. But simultaneously, we have to know that there is higher self is there, that is called our self, or you call it consciousness, you call it anything. In this time, we need to feel compassionate. When we feel compassionate towards others, I tell you, we get healing energy for oneself. This is the time not only think about oneself, we have to stretch our hands, whatever given situation or given potential we have or strength we have to take care of neighbors, we have to take care of society. I tell you, if you call 10 people and you strengthen them, don't worry. It is there, we'll fight it out. I tell you, by the time the 10th person we have talked, and we feel so much energy, because when we start spreading the positivity and the strength, and tell you, we become more stronger. Because whoever is elder or whoever is having this little strength, he holds the key and the responsibility, because he can give strength to many, not only at home but outside also. Even also you have fear, don't express your fear, I tell you. Because why? If you express your fear, others will also feel the fear. It becomes collective, like a collective consciousness. Then everybody, even where a small atom problem also might look as a mountain, like a Himalaya. But this is the time, even the problem is like a mountain, but you have to look as a small particle so that you can definitely fight it out. That kind of hope we have to have in oneself and have to invoke in others. Because I tell you, the light is, we can see the light, because when the last time, 1 year ago, the pandemic was there, we didn't have this vaccine. Now we have a vaccine and we have enough research, and we have seen that there are many medicines that are helping to overcome this COVID. Not only medicine, even the new researchers, I think there is some new DRD also having some. So there is absolutely hope, and our doctors, our bureaucracy, the government, everybody is working. And today I'm seeing, it is like it brought everybody together. That aspect is already there. So how the spirituality can help such COVID situation to come out of? I tell you what Gurudev says, spirituality is nothing, something, somewhere in the sky. He says the very spirit is spirituality, and there is nothing outside the spirit, he says. For example, he was talking to international some guests. What he said, take a banana and start peeling the skin of the banana. You peel one side and it is like a Hinduism, Sikhism, Muslim, something. And the inside that contained banana, he called it spirituality. That spirit. And Gurudev says, no one is perfect in this world as we want, but everyone is perfect in this world as they are if you accept it. Like that, he says, not only that, he says, people, even the situation, he says. What he says, situation sometimes change, sometimes not. It might not change. It might take a time, but you can change yourself, way you approach, way you take, and way you think. Why he says like that? Because if we become stronger, definitely we can make the change. Because the half the battle is won with the strength, the rest, the 50%, definitely, practically we can take care of what are all the measures. And for example, if you're consuming sugar, avoid sugar, because Gurudev says, also research also says, if you take 1 spoon of sugar, 2 hours your immune system goes down. And try to avoid the white salt and you take rock salt or sendanamak. That also helps strengthen the immune system. And what else Gurudev says is, and 20 to 30 minutes exercise is very important. If you are young, so you can half an hour workout is good enough. But if you are little kids and all that, they should do at least 1 hour. And another thing, when we breathe deep with some pranayama exercises like Bastrika, there are 3 stages of pranayama where the Guruji has taught the Sudarshan Kriya. So even the Prana Shakti, when it rises, we can handle our emotions, because this is the time where we have to be balanced. We have to take care of our feelings and emotions. Simply saying words will not make that emotions come down. We need something which can help us to bring down emotions, this pressure, I will call it the stress. And here where the breathing will definitely help, and especially Sudarshan Kriya. Because when we do Kriya, Sudarshan Kriya, Pranayama, our Prana Shakti goes up. When the Prana Shakti is up, the negativity will disappear in our head. The thoughts will become stable. What is thought? Thought is nothing but a wave. If you look at inside the body, the thoughts are coming, you keep quiet yourself and observe. And when you observe, the thoughts are nothing but vibrations. And you wait for a while, the vibration is nothing but energy. And that energy is nothing but consciousness. It dissolves into itself, and you'll see there is a stability. And when you are in stable state, you are stable, then you can handle situation better. That's what Gurudev always says, accept people's situation as they are. But somebody says, if we accept it, so what next? He said, accept not passively, actively. The moment you accept, okay, this is the situation, this is real, okay, we'll do it. Okay, so what? The moment you accept it, then what happens? The stability comes. When we don't accept it, we get unstable. Some example he was giving, if we are in the traffic jam, if the jam is there, you start, okay, why this traffic jam is there? Start complaining to corporation, why these people are like that. But he said, okay, situation is this, traffic jam is there. You moment to accept some creativity, or you call it some force of energy will be invoked in you. You stop your car and off the car and you go out and you help traffic to be revealed, and you make people to go side and this side, and traffic is gone, then you can move on. Because you contribute when you are stable. This is the time we have to contribute to oneself, to the society. Contribution means we have to give strength that, okay, anyway, we are going to do something will come up. We have to first relax, but not passive. Active relaxation has to be there. And definitely, we should take the help of Ayurveda, as I mentioned. This Kabasur could need. For example, if you take a Kabasur, I tell you your body temperature will increase. When the body little warmth is there, the cells get activated. They get activated and they will function more effectively. That's what, wherever you go, they say warm welcome. Nobody welcome you cold welcome, because life is warm. And body, if the soul leaves the body becomes cold. Cold is, it is not towards life. The warmth is towards life, but not too much warmth, but there is a balanced warmth. The warmness, that's life energy. Prana Shakti is warmness. That's what, when you deep breath, there is a warmness in your breath. But that warmness is not only comes from the outerly, but when you feel strongly, there is a warmness is there in your self. That's what in your mind, your thoughts, way you feel, there is a warmth. That's what, when you feel compassionate, you feel warm. You feel trust and the faith. You feel there is a warmth. That will also be needed in such situation, the compassion. Not emotions, compassion. Emotion, what happens? You get panic. When you watch news and you feel sympathy towards others, you feel shaky. You also feel that, what it is going to happen to me, or that kind of fear will catch up. When you feel compassionate means what? Little vairagya and the viveka is needed. It's called vairagya, means the quality that that the vair narag, there is the reality that anyway it is changing. So definitely it is changing. Nothing is going to remain like that. And everything one day it will definitely go like our way, our fathers disappear, one day everyone will disappear. That will bring us, that furiousness will go away with the vairagya. And viveka means what to do, what not to do, how much to think, how much not to think, what to eat, what not to. Because this is the time people who are taking alcohol should avoid alcohol. Who are taking smoking, who are doing smoking, they should stop smoking, because anything takes away health, or we call immune system. Might COVID can affect, because the deadly virus or enemy is standing outside the door. So healthy lifestyle is very important. For that, we need to have a good diet. It is very important. And simultaneously, we need to have a healthy lifestyle, and simultaneously read nice books. I tell you, it will take away your stress and fear. And this is the time to listen good music. And if you want what is happening outside, take little information, maybe once or twice in a day, not for hours together, sitting in front of the news channel and bombarding that news definitely affect and damage our mental health. And spending time maybe on the phone or physically with your dear near ones, then the Facebook or WhatsApp. Because when we are with the real beings, that gives strength to each other, because there is a transaction is happening. Mostly WhatsApp and also one side traffic, you are not one side something. It is not it's just on the mental level. But when we are with our dear and near ones, it is like a holistically we are there. Not on the mental level, heartily we are there, physically we are, emotionally there. All aspects are present there. And it is very, very important in such situation. And another thing is, you do meditation, but along with the medication, if it is needed. If it is needed. If, for example, say science and spirituality, they're not against each other in India. It might be maybe in West, I don't know about it. For example, if I'm using a mic, how this mic works, what are the principles, the niyama. So if you follow all that, this mic will start working. This is called science. How to make this mic and way it works. All this is in science. We have this invention and innovation, two aspects of it. But beyond this science, that prajna is there, one who is understanding the niyama and making sure that science is become real, so that Mike is created. Without spirit, science is not there, but without science, spirituality is completely there, because through spirit consciousness, this is understood, the whole principle of the science, and then it brought into in the material world. So spirituality and science are not, because the science is there, it is just an extension of our own self, or we call it extension of the super intelligence. So definitely they complement each other. So spirituality, when we talk about, many people think, most religious and have some blind faith. No, faith is, you say, belief is always blind. Because somebody believes because he doesn't know. And somebody doesn't believe because he doesn't know. Anyway, belief is blind. There is no doubt about it. But when you believe, there is a possibility to realize and to know. Belief is only to start, not to stop. See, somebody believes that bank is okay. We can trust on that bank and we can put our money. So definitely that bank can help us and we can go further. Belief is only to take a first step, but not to stop there. Like, for example, yes, we have to believe, we have to have that faith. It's called hope also. We have to have. So that, we can explore. Simply, I tell you, there are a few words out there. One word is called discovery. And another word called is invention. And invention also, once you invent anything, there is a constant innovation is there. Discovery comes mostly, historically, this was discovered there, it was not there. Discovery means it is somewhere else. It is hidden. We have to discover it. But invention is not like, it is not hidden. It is not existing at all. We have to invent it. Then whatever is invented constantly, there is an innovation, because we have to upgrade it constantly, where the phones and everything is upgraded like a technology. But when it comes to spirituality, the very word is very simply is realize. It is there, you have to only acknowledge it. Just to realize, just know it. And when you say word realization, means it doesn't matter the space, it doesn't matter the time, it doesn't matter the color, it doesn't matter the religion, it doesn't matter caste or anything. Everybody is eligible, only you have to recognize, because it is all the time, everywhere it is available. And that quality of the spirit is the joy, the strength, compassion, humanness, values, ethics. All these qualities are there, present in our consciousness, what we call it spirit or spirituality. Gurudev says, doesn't matter how bad a criminal is there, but he says there is a victim is crying in him for a help, because he doesn't know how to control his emotions. So it triggered him. He he committed some crime. But underneath, Gurudev says everybody is the same and having the same strength, irrespective of who they are. So this is the time we have to recognize, because COVID has made us realize, as Ravindraji before starting wonderfully he said, what Gita was saying since so many thousands of years, many of us not able to get it, but this COVID taught us, or made us realize. Because, when the Gita was taught, Arjuna and the Krishna were in the battlefield. So Gita was relevant and Arjuna was able to understand it. And that was the right atmosphere where Gita can descend and can be shared. And this is the time, I tell you, this is also like a war where we are standing, where the war is happening, and the right time to receive the knowledge. But here is what, there was a Krishna. Here we have to invoke that knowledge. See, the Krishna is talking from many forms today. He's talking as a scientist also. He's talking as a doctor, courier warriors, the supporting staffs, doctor, the police, all that. Like I tell you, they're all nothing but Krishna. They're God themselves. They're helping also, and something they're making us realize. See, we also have that compassion. Don't worry about oneself. He says, Nishkama karma, what Gita says. Don't forget about yourself. Only thinking about yourself is a dharma. But when you start thinking about others, It is a dharma. And here we are seeing the people practicing that dharma. So Gita is really happening all around us. And we have to honor and respect all those people who are contributing. And today time, I tell you, I have talked many times, many people, but I tell you, everybody forgotten their differences. They're not thinking about their difference. And I tell you, many people, even they've forgotten their smallness value. I am belong to this religion, I am this. Everybody's talking about how everyone can be safe, how everybody can be healthy and sound. And I tell you, doesn't matter, maybe intellectually, I might be less, somebody might be more, but we all belong to each other. We are ready to take care of each other. And I think this is more precious than the what is right and who is more right and wrong. This is not the time. And another thing is, maybe who are doing business. So they were doing business, but now they have to do the real business also. That is called what Ramaratam. We have to be strong within also and outside also. Business is never ever against spirituality. Our spirituality is not against about the wealth. The only spirituality says we have to be rich outside and we have to be rich inside. Because anybody becomes rich because his purushartha he does his karma. He gets his phala. And not only do the karma of only outside, do the karma of inside also. That is called sadhana and satsang itself. So we can be holistically strong. What Gurudev says. So spirituality and our work, whatever business we are doing, but this is the time, at least Gurudev said, 1-2 years, we should not think about much about how much profit we are gaining. Only we should think about the sustainability. If you think about the sustainability, he says, fear will not take over you. And if you are unable to little bit shaky about this taking care of stability, only think about survival. And Guruji said, the fear will be not there and we'll sail through it. Once we are out of it, again we can rise and again we can bring all things together. Because if we can do before also, we can do in future also.
Right.
It is only a moment. It is only a passing time. That's all. Maybe a 2 months, maybe a 6 months, not more than that. We should have that trust and faith that no, we won't allow this to sustain for 2 or 6 months. If everyone start feeling that that way, what happens? The collective strength will come. The scientists will find the solutions. All the emotions will be taken, they become stable. The whole strength will be invoked, and that is already happening. And this is not the time to blame anybody because of this person or that person or government. I tell you, nobody wants bad to anybody. I tell you really, because if somebody is doing things, maybe you do 10 things, 1 thing, 2 things, go here and there. It is not common to everybody. One story is very simple. When we do mistake, we say it happened. Somebody does, we say that intentionally they done it. So Gurudev said, don't see intention behind others' mistakes. So there is a simple story is there. Father and son were sitting in the kitchen, something fall and broken sound has come. The son says to the father, today maybe the woman one who helps for the kitchen hasn't come. Maybe only Amma is there, the mother is there. The father says, how do you know? He says, if something was broken, if some worker was there, Amma would have been started shouting, the mother. Thus, there is no shouting is coming, means it is broken by Amma's hand only. So when something mistake happens from our head, we accept it, it's happened, the mistake. But when others does, we take it as something they've done it intentionally. Nobody do intentionally. I tell you, this humanity is not that much bad. And especially they're not, no, maybe a little bit corruption, but nobody will be that much bad. I really tell you, nobody will. No, you can understand my feeling. I'm not able to express it. We have to faith and trust on each other. Everybody is making sure that we will come out of it, and everybody is putting their 100% so that we can fight it out. If that trust is there, no, we don't lose our strength. Trusting others, we have to trust our doctors, because if you go and tell doctors what to do, they can't work efficiently. Why? You're creating the stress situation. You have to tell doctor, sir, you do. what's supposed to be done, and we'll relax and you tell what to do. Instead of that doubting the doctor, telling the doctor put the oxygen, which you cannot put oxygen like that. There is thorough research is there how much to be given. If you give extra damage, you have to have trust and faith and relax. And if near once something happens, doctors, you have to tell doctors you did the best. You have to tell the nurses and you've done your best. But thank you so much. But keep on helping others. Instead of that, we are blaming them. Because if they also weakened, I tell you, we are weakening ourselves. And any business houses are there, if we are working or doing, if they are not able to pay, if they're paying 50%, we should say, sir, we are with you, we are with the company, because company was there when everything was fine. And today's time, not only we are going through it, you are also going through it, because when the big business houses are there, they have hundreds of dimensions who laborers doesn't know we're working, they don't know. They have a big, there are a lot of things over there, we don't know. There might be loans, might be there, because when you stop big companies, the losses also goes, then the many things we don't know that. So we have trust that, when they're not able to pay 50% giving, we also accept them, go with them, and make sure that we don't do much shoppings and all that. So we remains in the basic. So strengthen each other instead of doubting others' intention. And another thing, if you have wealth, not just simply, but having that trust, on each other, I tell you, that will give more strength to each other. And once we come up out of COVID, I request everybody who are used to work 8 hours, they should work 12 hours. Like that, I tell you, in shorter time we'll overcome. Like that kind of thoughts we start invoking. Okay, once my company opens, earlier I used to work 10 hours, and now I will work 14 hours. And what profit I was making, I was sharing, I will little more, I will share with whoever is with me. So is such kind of thought process when we start invoking, I tell you, we'll wait for that right moment to come, and the moment will come early so that disease will go away. Instead of thinking what will happen, no, nothing will happen, we'll do the best. And this is a challenge to explore my potentiality. If the challenge is not there, our intelligence doesn't have any meaning. Our strength doesn't have any meaning. So like that, we have to move. So I think if any questions are there, definitely we can take.
Swamiji, I would like to add on what you said.
Yes, sir.
The fearless society. Probably I must, on a lighter note, I must warn you, because a lot of shops are running on the fear basis only.
Yes.
If people will become fearless, there will be many shops closed. Many shops closed.
Yes.
And though these shops basically actually doing a lot of with our trust factor, they are creating mistrust, they are creating doubts, they are creating panic. So people are basically hooked to the devices or to the channels. Those are creating such kind of a misery around. And it's a kind of a wiring. People have, a lot of studies have come that we are wired through information. They are basically changing our pattern of thinking, the way we react, the way we respond. So how do we we cannot stop getting information nowadays, because we are so hooked up with the devices. We really cannot say that I will not watch news channels, I'll not watch, I'll not go through WhatsApp, Facebook, blah, blah things, apps are there. How do we detach, despite we see, how can we invoke our consciousness so strong that this kind of fear or the negative news does not affect us?
Yes. See, when the negative, Gurudev says, always the wrong is not always in a big quantity. And the good people are in a larger quantity, bad people are, like he says, mukti, but very few. But what happens, they're more active, but the good people are not more active. So this is the time the goodness people are who are good, they should come forward. And another thing is, we have to have the faith in the higher. and even in the humanity, that these few people are doing wrong thing, or some wrong things are happening, but there are lots of people who are doing really good thing and good strength. They're practicing the right approach, but we don't know their information. Like that, we have to give assurance to oneself. And another thing, wherever we see something wrong is happening, it is very important to raise the voice and make sure we inform the concerned departments and all that, because it is our responsibility. If somebody is doing wrong, if I come to know, if I keep quiet, I am also part of it. And another way I say, if they are doing wrong, if I affect my mind, I'm not helping myself, nor I'm not going to help others. So how I take it, this wrong is happening, but I'm so fortunate, lucky, that kind of mindset I don't have. And I'm grateful to my parents and divinity, so that I haven't had such kind of ethics and values or such kind of wrong practices. I have ethics and values. So remembering one's own positiveness and strength, and moving towards a little bit about, what I say, sadhana, pranayam, dhyana, and spirituality. So we invoke and preserve our inner strength. Because anyway, there is if when you open news, there is so much, it is bombarding.
Right.
I practice one thing. When I see news, what I do, suddenly I listen to music, I listen to Gurudev's knowledge, so that there is a counterbalance is there. I call someone and how are you? All is fine, everything is fine, your problem. So one side, we are seeing the problem. The other side, we start contributing the problem, solve the problem, like how are you? All is fine. How I can help you? All is fine. So I start doing something, cleaning or cooking. I saw the energy shift happens. If you remain in the same mode, if you listen, because listening and watching news is also important, taking the information is also important, but we should not. Like, for example, how when somebody is making a tea, if little bit sugar is more, what you add more milk to it. So when you add more milk to it, the quantity is increased, the sugar will go less.
Right.
Same way, when we see something negative, suddenly we have to shift our consciousness or our focus on something positive. So we have the data also, what is there happening in the real world, and simultaneously we are protecting ourselves also, and we can analyze and make sure that how we can move on, how we can contribute for oneself, how we can take care of, how can we help others, and how we can take care of our business now. So it's a balance like that. If you do, I tell you, definitely it helps, because I'm practicing that, and definitely it is helping.
Before I hand over my audience to ask you a question, and they can unmute themselves and can switch on to their videos and can ask. I have another question with you.
Please.
I was blessed to meet Gurudev, I think 3 times. And I was quite influenced with his childlike smile. Tried a lot, but the expression on the face never gets changed.
Yes.
How to have that childlike expression always?
No, Gurudev said very beautifully, how you can have that childlike smile at that purity. Guruji said, purity in heart, clarity in mind, and he said there is sincerity in our action. If the 3 things come together, he said that innocence, that purity, smile will always be there. Once more, I would like to share that one: purity in heart, clarity in mind, and sincerity in our action. He says the 3 things come together. He says no one can take away our smile.
Wonderful.
Purity in heart, clarity in mind, sincerity in action.
Yes.
So that's the mantra. I'm going to post it on our webinar forum,
Yes.
probably in the tomorrow's message, and I'll have Gurudev's name under it.
Yes, absolutely.
So
And
probably
along with, you write one more thing, it would be really great. You can write, doing the Sudarshan Kriya enables to bring the purity to the heart, clarity to the mind, and sincerity to the action.
that'd be great. I'll just add it.
Yes.
So I welcome people to come forward and have their queries resolved, or probably if they want to interact, the session is open to everybody now. You can unmute yourself and can ask.
You can please unmute yourself, and if you want to interact, have any questions, please go ahead.
And if you want to ask in Hindi also, भाषा की कोई सीमा नहीं. हम तो अभी भी सब लोग भारतीय तो है.
Please.
Everybody is fine means always Gurudev says if the questions are not coming, so there are two possibilities is there. The speaker spoke well, or he is not worthy to.
I think I can have one more question, Swamiji.
There's so many things from what you shared, Swamiji. In fact, they're really practical.
Yes.
Some of us do practice, and it has helped on the news front. I was sharing, we keep on sharing with Ravindraji also. So limiting the news to, I personally keep it to 5 to 10 minutes. That's it.
We have Pradeep Chaturvedi ji, like he has been my mentor for long. I request Pradeep Chaturvedi ji to unmute, and probably I just want to welcome him.
Yeah, no, just trying to understand basically that despite our trying our best to avoid listening or reading any, I would say, sad news or bad news, still somewhere that fear still lurks deep inside. Means it is not easy to bring that out, and despite trying our best, it is not that we do try, but I think maybe there is some lacuna on our part. I would say that we have not been able to overcome that element of fear which still lurks somewhere deep inside.
Yes.
How to handle that?
The Gurudev says very beautifully. You know, fear has to be there, but very little. Like this, says Gurudev, if the fear completely goes away, we don't know how. We will lose that capacity to take care of oneself and others. And the protection is there, but whenever it is here, there's some higher power is there that's going to take care of us. There is something is going to be with us, will help us, and of trust, fear will disappear. Simply, fear cannot be taken away without the trust. And so on something, the Buddhist gives an example. You know, when the child is playing with his friends, if something happens, if he sees his brother and mother, somebody is there behind, so it stands strongly firm. So something like that we have to have some higher take care that it will pass, and that kind of trust definitely take away the fear. Definitely.
We have Poonam Kshatriya ji to ask something. Please unmute and yeah.
जी पूनम जी,
स्वामी जी, मेरा ये प्रश्न है कि गुरुदेव कहते हैं कि सबके लिए इनफाइनाइट ग्रेस है, सबके लिए इनफाइनाइट ब्लेसिंग्स हैं. तो जब हम प्रे करते हैं किसी, जैसे मेरा कजिन अभी we lost him now in COVID, he was very young, तो ऐसा लगता है व्हाट इज द थर्ड इंग्रेडिएंट व्हिच वी नीड टू वर्क ऑन. कि भी हम मतलब हमने सब प्रे किया, संकल्प भी लिया, लेकिन वो नहीं बचा. तो वो क्या है? और हम देखते हैं कि 93 इयर्स की एक लेडी है, वो भी आ जाते हैं हॉस्पिटल से एक सही, और जिनके लिए हम मतलब जिनको जरूरत लगती है, हमें लगता है कि इनकी तो बहुत जरूरत है, इनके ऊपर लायबिलिटीज हैं, घर पे पेरेंट्स हैं, बच्चे हैं, फिर भी वो नहीं बचते हैं. तो ऐसा क्यों होता?
देखिए क्या है, हमने बहुत सारे बातों को बहुत सदियों से सुनते आए हैं कि कोई बनाने वाला है और उसने बना दिया, और हम यहाँ इसके लिए, ये सब विचारधाराएं जो थी हमको एरो के लिए, सच्चाई क्या है, जो बनाने वाला है और जो बन गया है, जो वो एक ही है. द क्रिएटर, द क्रिएशन एंड द व्हाट इज क्रिएटेड, दे आर नथिंग बट वन एंड द सेम. उसको शास्त्र में कहते दृश्य, दृष्टा और दर्शन तीनों एक ही है, ये अलग नहीं. और इसको जब आप रियल समझते हो तो आपके अंदर एक प्रश्न उठता है कि ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है, द व्हाई. अगर आप इसको लीला समझते, इट इज जस्ट ए प्ले ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस. जैसे एक फिल्म देखते हैं, अगर आप उसमें फॉर एग्जांपल रामायण को लेते हैं, रावण को हटा देते हैं कि हमको बुरा नहीं चाहिए, हम मंत्रा जी को भी हटा देते, मंत्रा भी नहीं चाहिए। तो राम जी करेंगे क्या? सुबह उठेंगे, ब्रेकफास्ट करेंगे, लंच करेंगे, डिनर करेंगे, उसके अलावा कुछ होगा नहीं। ये जीवन क्या है? एक उत्सव है। एक जीवन क्या है? एक प्ले ऑफ कॉन्सियसनेस है, प्ले एंड डिस्प्ले ऑफ कॉन्सियसनेस, और सभी का, और एक ही तत्व है। तो वो क्या है? एक खेल जैसा बच्चा खेल रहा है, तब देखो उसमें हार भी है, जीत भी। इंस्टेड ऑफ कितने प्लेयर्स होते, इतना अच्छा खेले होते, उस दिन जो टीम अच्छा भी नहीं खेला होता, उस दिन वो भी जीत जाता है। क्यों? तभी तो आनंद। ये जीवन क्या है? एक प्ले का एक खेल है। इसको हम रियल ये समझने लगते हैं कि ये किसी ने बनाया, ये ऐसा है, हम कर्म काटने के लिए है, पाप है, तो हम अपने आप को ऐसे मनस्थिति में लेके आते, मेरे क्या ऐसा, हम खुद के अंदर कीट ला, लेकिन इसको एक खेल की तरह, जैसा कृष्ण भी कहते हैं, तो उस तरह से लेते हैं। तो ना खुद को ब्लेम करते हैं ना हम। और एक गुरुजी कहते हैं, अगर आपको सफर करना है ना, एक छोटा सा चाबी है, क्या है? वाई टू मी, what about me? अगर हम ऐसा करेंगे तो we'll thoroughly get into depression and frustration. One another key he says, how to come out of it. He says, what I can do. When you start taking your consciousness or your intelligence into that direction, you will slowly come out of it. Instead of why and suffering. This is how this whole creation is created. This is how nobody is created. This is how this whole design of this creation. See, apple, if you don't eat in a particular time, it will definitely get rotten. This is how it is. And if you eat, it will become a body. It will become your intelligence. But one day this body also disappears. This is what it is. So this is the play of temporary creation. This is how the temporary and the changing, nothing dies. If you look at it to go deeper, I was not going into that because this was a platform of more about present moment, what is happening. For example, if you see somebody is somewhere else, we are not seeing that. Doesn't mean that their life is not happening. In America, somebody is not living, they're having their food, they're going through it. It means what? What is disappear in front of our eyes? The body, we think death has happened, only disappear from our eyes, but the journey is there. And what is come into life, we think this is born right now only. No, before life also it was there, because life is continuing. For example, you sleep in this body and wake up in this body, it is called sleep. But sleep in this body and wake up in another body is called death. Because energy neither can be created nor be destroyed. Only it changes the form. And if you look at whole creation is only two aspects of play. One is form and sound. Mind and thinking, everything is nothing but sound. And whatever we see, it is nothing but form. And the form is also changing and the sound is also changing. When the sound changes in harmonious, it has become music. But the sound go here and there, scattered, it becomes noise. But the same wave function, there is nothing else. We're able to get, but when we attach our feelings, this should be this way, that way, we get scattered the music. Way it happens, we accept it. Not only this person is gone, I will also. Because everything is temporary, will bring back us to the knowledge. Because if you caught up, see, when the drama theater is happening, if somebody is playing such a role, he's not within he is only normal only, but the way he expresses his feeling, that is what but way we experience life on the surface level, it is true that we suffer and we feel anxiety. If you go deeper level, you will see it is only wave function, only taranga, way the quantum physics says, way the Vedanta is understood. Because I was talking to Ravindraji, I was not getting into that zone, but you made me to asking such questions so that I can go into deeper that sense, because I was talking only on what the given moment and how we face this challenge and how to get the strength. And this eternal knowledge, there are two kinds of knowledge, and I will complete my word. One is time-related knowledge, one is timeless knowledge. Time-related, for example, how if somebody feeling hungry in America or in India, wherever, even animals and humans, the hunger is the same. But we attain to the hunger might be different. South Indian make idli, North Indian makes parota. The taste is different, but once the stomach is full and that we contain, the satisfaction is the same. So there is oneness also, there is a difference also. The time means how, if somebody is in Himalaya, he should wear the cold clothes. Somebody in North India, right, South Indian at the moment, there is a summer, so they will be only even having just banyan. But the time is the same, but the space is different. But this is time-related knowledge. How? Time and space. In Himalaya, we have to wear this. In South India, but the timeless is what? The hunger is the same. And if you look at somebody in Southern only, but one who is experiencing cold or hot, but inside that being is the same. Only circumstances are different. For example, the day and night is happening only because we are seeing relatively, we are on the planet Earth. But sun is neither setting or rising. Only we are rotating, so we are feeling. So we have to see the both knowledge. When we see relatively, we talk about science, medication, lifestyle, and all those things will come into light, and we should practice and follow all those down. But when we are little out of this planet and only we seeing the sun, neither it sets nor the rises, then we can know that this is temporary, but something within that nature of this whole creation, what you call Atma, that is always going to be there, so you can relax and rest. And rest is just a play and display of consciousness. We have to understand both. Other aspect I was not touching, but thank you so much. You made that, bring that aspect also into this platform. Thank you so much. I hope, Ravindraji, it makes sense. Yes.
Yeah, it is very much, Swamiji. And I was to add probably another, maybe indirect or direct question, a suggestion, or maybe the feelings. You see that on the media, social media, or the electronic media, or across print media, I mean, the negativity is finding. Again, I'm coming back to you have something core inside. So everything negative is getting a lot of space. I'll take example of like Baba Ramdev using the media. He has made every Indian to learn more about yoga, pranayam. So you see why like we are an intellectual capital of world. Why are not we able to spread this kind of positivity using these platforms which are very powerful, and even I see that this is a revolution my age has seen, that even like a stone plucker on the road, one side he's doing the job and he's on the phone. It has reached to everybody. Why we are not been able to reach to using these medias and create positivity, tremendous positivity to the people?
Ravindraji, I think many people, they're doing their best, whatever they're having their capable. No one will have infinite capability on when we take a form of the body, or whoever is doing sadhana, or whoever is maybe very famous and contributed a lot. I think everyone is doing their best, as I have seen. I think, but this time demands more than our comfort zone, what we used to do. And many people still are in their comfort zone. As you said, we should come out of our comfort zone, make sure that this positivity spreads more stronger and more speedy than the COVID. Definitely, you are right. You are right, absolutely. I think when we talk about others, we should request them to please, you can give more your time and your energy to the society. But when it comes to oneself, I think take that message. So myself, I can take and spend what time I can give, more time I should spend to the more society. At least I can take the responsibility and take this message to, this is correct and I should start practicing. So I think in both way. So the whoever is doing contribution and they should supposed to contribute more, I can request from this platform, and simultaneously I also owes that I take the responsibility, that I also take more responsibility, so that what you said, yes, it should be that way. I think I put it very humbly. I should put that way. Yes.
So I think Sandeepji, there are no questions, so you can probably proceed with the
questions on the chat also. Great. Swamiji, it was very enriching, and I'm sure it's going to help a lot for us to rework and take our life forward. And I'm sure in future we will be taking some of your time to address advanced issues and which can help the humanity at large.
Yes, sir. It would
Namaskar.
be-
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Before that, I think we should pray for everybody's health and all that. I think.
Please,
Right,
please.
right.
We should. We should.
Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashyat Dukkha Bhave Om Shanti 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 Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Jai Gurudev. Thank you for this. Namaskar. Jai
Thank you, Swamiji. Thank you. Obliged.
Jai Gurudev. Sandeep and
Okay.
Ravinder ji, Pankaj sir. Jai Gurudev everyone. Mangalam ji and everyone. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Guru.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for trying.
Thank you.